Hello, welcome to another episode of Unlocked. Doug Sandler is the CEO of Turnkey Productions. It's a podcast company that helps people produce, monetize, record, strategize, all those things on their podcast. But we're not going to talk about that. I mean, we put a little plug in there at the end. You can hear Doug talk about that because it's pretty cool what they do. But more so, I had Doug on the show because he wrote a book. It was called Nice Guys Finish First. And this was a book he wrote a number of years ago. So we don't even know if it's in production. I'm going to I'll check on that after the show. But there is something interesting about this idea of nice guys. And how do we unlock our inner nice guy or nice girl or nice person? How do we do that? And what's the benefit? Why would we do that? Well, a lot of you are saying, well, of course we would. And you'll see Doug actually puts a little thing about one of the comments, the only 1-star review that he had in Amazon. He's going to tell you about what that said in the interview. So get ready for that. It's kind of funny, basically on what we just said. So he wrote that book. It's ranked as an Amazon bestseller. He's the podcast of the nice guys on business. He's interviewed people like Gary Vee, Adriana Huffington, John C. Maxwell, and a lot of other kind of famous people, if you know any of those people. Doug is a recognized speaker. He's a writer, and he's the founder of Turnkey Productions. He's edited and launched tons of services. They have a big network of podcasts that they run. He has over 1,000 episodes, and it's been downloaded about 3.5 million times. He's been out there. He knows what he's talking about. He's been guests. He's been a host. He knows how to deliver good content. I hope you're going to get some tidbits out of this one. So you ready? Here we come, Doug. Here we are, Doug. Here we are.
This is the place to be. I heard Skot was the guy, and this was the place to be.
Were you talking to my mom again?
No, but I was reading a little bit about your story, and I love the fact that you created this persona of yourself in 6th grade, and very similar to you. I started developing like my signature in 6th grade. I'm like, I'm going to be somebody, and I'm going to have this signature. And it's like you want to differentiate yourself from all the other Scots because we all know brand is everything, and Skot is so much better than Scott. Sorry for all the Scots in Europe.
So much better. Well, think of how much time I've saved in my life, only like omitting one T. Like how much extra time do I spend writing one T? Now it's like maybe a half a second.
Yeah,
but how many half a seconds have I built up over the course of my lifetime?
But Scott, you've had to replace how much time you've saved by eliminating the other T by explaining the elimination.
I know. Every time I talk to somebody, I have to like tell them the whole story all over again.
That's okay. You know what? If nothing else, it is a great conversation starter. And I've listened to several of your episodes with your guests, and it's like it's a good place to be, man. And I appreciate your professionalism and you bringing your expertise to the podcasting space. Thanks. Well, thank you for having me.
Dude, I've got quite a bit to learn from you. So I'm just going to take notes from you being the podcast expert you are. As I interview you, I'm going to start watching your micro things and things you say. Like you'll bring it. So I'm
all right. There's no pressure in that.
No pressure. Zero pressure. So what we're going to talk about here is just being a nice guy. And I like that topic. You even suggested this topic to me over you're like, hey, let's call it this. And I was like, oh, that's so good. And so tell me about your background with this whole nice guy mantra. Where'd you come up with this and why focus on that?
I guess I got to go back to probably the early 90s with my last career, my only other career that I've had in my life. And that was that of, one of those fun facts that people don't know much about or they don't know anything about you. I spent 30 years as a bar mitzvah MC. So I was the guy out in the middle of the dance floor doing all the line dances, playing with the kids, getting the adults involved in the party, kind of weaving that fine gray line between what will make the kids happy and what are going to make the adults happy on that dance floor and at that party. And I discovered that most guys that were in the business were probably making $300, $400, $500 and per gig. And I discovered that if I actually just did something a little different than them, I could not only 1x that, 2x that, 5x that, I could 10x the income. So I was the guy in a $500 market making $5,000 to do a gig, and I would do 85 of these things a year. So you don't have to be smart to do the math. I was making a shit ton of, sorry, I don't know if I can say that. I was making a lot of money in the bar mitzvah space. But I realized that probably wasn't going to be my entire life career. Now, I was saying that from the mid 90s to probably 2015, which is about the time when I discovered that there's got to be something better than just bar mitzvah emceeing in my life. And I really did take a hard look at what I had done to build my career as a bar mitzvah MC, and built an agency doing that with other DJs that were under me doing that as well. And I discovered that most guys were spending the majority of their time focused on that 4-hour event, making sure that they had the right music and the right equipment and, the right, all the stuff that surrounded them at the party. And what my revelation was, is that it's not the 4-hour event. You've got to be great at that. And I did a really good job with that. And they did a great job with that as well. But it's really the 1.5 or 2 years of planning that leads you up to the event that allows you to be a $5,000 DJ in a $500 market, because you have several conversations, you have planning, you have all of the stuff that goes into the preparation for that event. And there was a point where I discovered that I was making more money in the preparation of the event than actually doing the event, meaning all of the upselling, all of the things that they were adding on to their event. And so my philosophy of Nice Guys Finish First was all about, how do I create an environment that's so over the top customer service, providing everything that this client could need before party day, that they would never dare and go anywhere else other than a phone call to me when it came to, hey, I'm thinking about my party, can you help me? And the answer was always yes, I can help you, because I either own that thing that you need, or I can align myself with somebody who needs it and make a commission from it. So it was all started in the business of entertaining, when I realized that it was totally about customer service, and Nice Guys actually do finish first in that business and in any business. And so when I made my way into this next part of my career, I think I realized that the philosophy and strategies that I employed as a DJ, I could employ basically doing any business. And then I started to train people how to do that in their business, whether it was dog grooming, HVA systems, mechanical engineering, working in the C-suite. Anywhere that you found that customer service, because everybody's your customer, could benefit you, then you will actually succeed if you just follow the easy principles of Nice Guys Finish First.
Okay, that's it. We're done. Cliffhanger.
Sorry.
Principles. You mean there's nice guy principles? Like you kind of like set the stage here. Like,
all right. So I wrote this book called Nice Guys Finish First. And this is not a promo for the book, because as I said to you right before you hit record, I don't even know if the book is still available. It may be on Amazon. Go there and just type in my name, Doug Sandler, Nice Guys Finish First, and see if it comes up. But the principles were one of the, when I was reviewed by my book by some people that were reading the book, one of the reviews, it was a 1-star review. And it was the only 1-star review that I got. So of course, which is the one of the 120 5-star reviews, the 1-star review, that's the one I'm fixated on. Why the hell did I get that? And it said something like, let's see, the principles in this book, ... duh. And I'm like, duh? I could walk into any store USA and find that people are not following the simple philosophies that I outlined in the book. And the simple philosophies are something like, tell the truth, return your communication, be kind. If you take those 3 philosophies and you apply them to anything that you do, whether you're a boss or a service provider, you're going to succeed at no matter what you do. Now, of course, you have to be good at what you do too, but those things, tell the truth, return your communication, and be kind. How ridiculously simple could that be? Yet I found that most people don't follow that as business owners, because they're so wrapped up in all of the other stuff. So cliffhanger doesn't need to be. That's the philosophy right there.
so is your page like 3 pages that it just has big text on it that just says, tell the truth, moron, kind of thing? I mean, it's so you sit there, you say, duh, like, of course, those are things that I should do as a human being. Right.
Right.
And understanding what we're supposed to do to operate well. Why did you focus on those as far as a business owner is concerned, or as far as anybody leading a team or working in a team or serving their customers as entrepreneurs or whoever? Why did you pick those out of all of the principles of what a normal human being should do in life?
Well, let's look at the opposite of those things. People that lie to get a sale because you have a checkbook. People that don't return their communication. How frustrating is it when you make a phone call to a store or to a friend or to a coworker, and you make a phone call to them and you leave a voicemail and they don't call you back? How frustrating. Where do you feel on the priority scale for them, in their world, if they don't return your phone call? And what happens when you walk in somewhere and you got their head down in their cell phone? You walk into a store and you can't even get attention. You walk past 10 people, 10 guys at, I don't know if Home Depot sponsors your show or not, but I'm just going to use them as the example. I walk into Home Depot and there's literally, a half a dozen Home Depot employees talking to each other. And I'm the one that's looking like an idiot because I can't find what I need in this monstrosity of a store. I don't know if they've improved it since the last time that I have been in there, but the chances are good that they don't train the philosophy of, could you tell the truth? Could you return your communication? And could you be kind, be generous? So for me, it was 165 pages. Yeah, it could have been 3 pages. One says be kind, the other one says communicate, and the other one says tell the truth. But I had to share stories and philosophies around and strategies to how do you do those things. It seems surprising to me that there's got to be a strategy around telling the truth. Yet, why don't most people tell the truth when they're trying to sell you something? Why do they have to be dishonest or be or exaggerate about what they can provide? Why can't they just tell you the truth?
We're going to take a quick commercial break to tell you this show is sponsored by your friends at Lowe's. So
there you go. That's perfect. Perfect.
So
gift card in the mail.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right. So why don't people tell the truth? Like, if it's such so it's such an easy concept there, why don't people just tell the truth?
I think they try to perceive what the needs of let's walk through a sales cycle for just a second. I call this, and my dad, I think he coined this phrase, you're doing the salesperson prospect dance whenever you have a prospect in front of you. And in that dance, as you're leading the dance, you're trying to lead that prospect through through a pathway. And some of those pathways lead to you exaggerating, or if somebody says, does this come in blue? Absolutely, it comes in blue. When you know damn well it only comes in red, why would you say that it comes in blue? Because you think that later on you're going to be able to convince that person that blue really isn't what they want. Red is the color that they really wanted. And so we want people in general are people pleasers, that we want to say something that we think on the other side of their message, the person that's receiving that message is going to be happier or more pleased by the answer that you gave. And so we are willing to do anything, including not tell the truth, in order for that to be the case. So I don't know why people don't tell the truth, but it seems like it would be a lot easier to tell the truth.
Seems like it would be. Let's go to the next one. Why don't people return communication?
They're just too busy. When they return the communication, let's say, have you ever sent an email that has 3 or 4 questions and somebody that's responding to you answers one of the questions and you think, what about the other 3 answers that I'm waiting for right now? I had an accounting firm that was doing the books for our production business, and they would be notorious for that. Instead of sending one email with 4 questions, I would have to send 4 emails, each with 1 question, because I knew they were never going to answer the other question. So it's not just a matter of returning the email or the communication or the phone call. It's returning it on a timely basis. Again, how notorious are companies for, I make a call today and I get a call back 4 or 5 days later, because they aren't prepared or staffed or able to handle the volume of calls that they get. Instead of somebody just saying, look, it's going to take us 48 hours to get back in touch with you. Why they don't do anything. So I don't even know that they got my communication. So sometimes that's the frustrating part of communicating with a company as well. I just don't think that people understand the value of communicating, how important it is to be able to respond to somebody in a timely fashion, even if that is to say, we will get back to you very shortly. Shortly is in the next 24 hours. They would just sooner ignore the communication. I don't know why people do that, just like I don't know why people don't tell the truth.
Well, you know what's annoying to me is when I ask my son to like, you know, unload the dishwasher from, playing on his Switch. And so I'll say, hey, can you go ahead and unload the dishwasher? And I get no response.
No response.
No response whatsoever. And it's like I just need something.
Just
I
give me an acknowledgement.
just say okay, or say I have 2 more minutes on this left on this match I'm on. Whatever it is, right? Like give
But
me something.
is there a is there a contract that you have with your son? Is there some sort of guideline? I know that you probably go to him and say, just give me anything back. Just tell me that, not that he would ever say this, Dad, go to hell. Just acknowledge that you received my message. Because if you don't acknowledge it, I don't know that you even got the message through your Switch, because you're busy, your head down in there, and I respect that you're busy and having a good time. I just need to know, hey, the next time that we have this conversation about the dishwasher, can we have a contract between each other? It's a really hard, mature conversation to have, but it is something that I did with my kids all the time. It's a verbal contract, and it makes it so that when he grows up, when she grows up, in my daughter's case and my son's case, when they grow up, they can understand they can understand the requirement to have some level of commitment and contract with whoever you're communicating with. And I love that. Some people might say, well, that's getting a little bit too adult, too fast for my 10-year-old. I'm like, no, it's not. You're teaching them responsibility and communication. How much better could it be than that?
Well, I think it's setting an expectation for respect and for what you need as one person on the side of this relationship. I don't care who the kid is or who the adult is that I'm talking to. I still need to set next. I know we're talking about kids here, but I'm really talking about just communication in general. Is setting an expectation, saying, "Hey, so and so, when this happens, in the case of my son, when you ignore me when I say something, which I perceive as ignoring, you may not be ignoring me because you probably heard it. Well, maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but I don't know. So,
Right.
well, I perceive this as ignoring me. When I hear this, I feel like I'm being ignored, and it causes me to feel frustrated. What I would like in the future and what I expect is that I get some kind of acknowledgement back. Is that okay? And then if I hear a yes, then cool. But if I hear a no, then we need to talk about what that no is and why it's there. So,
And translate that conversation, or transfer that conversation to the work environment where you have someone that works for you, that you are delegating responsibility to, that you give a responsibility to, and you don't even hear back from them. The task gets handled, but you don't even hear back from them. It is not outside of proper. So it is proper for you to be able to have a conversation with them and say, hey, John, look, in the future, this is how I'd like this to go, so that we're on the same page with everything. You're doing great work, and I really appreciate you taking care of that task for me. Here's where my challenge was. Part of my frustration when I give you a task is that your lack of acknowledgement that the task is even needing to get done. I know that you will do the task, but can you just send me a quick communication, just say got it or on it? And if for me, that's all I need to know that it's taken care of. I don't want to micromanage you. That's not what I'm looking to do. But when I don't hear back from you, I don't even know if the task is going to get done until it's completed. Are you okay with that? Or do we need to have another arrangement? Or can you suggest another way to handle this, so that if you get some buy-in from them and you have communication that's mature, I think that you're all going to end up being winners. And then you create an environment around you where you have all of these people that are in their zone of genius and able to work those tasks. And you're now Mr. Delegator or Miss Delegator that's out there. How great is that, to be able to have an organization that has 10, 12, 15, 100 people working for you? And you can sit back and just watch the magic happen, because that communication is the key essential starting point for any understanding and expectation that you may have for that person.
that's right. And I want to acknowledge too that, there are going to be the personalities in the room that are like, I got your message. I don't necessarily need to take the time to respond to you, because they perceive that as wasting time. I'm wasting time responding to you with another email to confirm that I got your message. I just had this conversation last week with a team that I'm coaching, and one person's frustrated that they're not getting an email response back. They're like, hey, did you get my message? And the person's like, yes, I got your message. I'm on it. And they could perceive that as like, like haggling them. It's like, or just like a nuisance. And
Yeah,
it's just like,
nuisance.
no, I'm not. I'm just confirming that you got my message. Like, yes, I got your message. I don't need to confirm with you. I got my message. It's like, how do I? So it's that whole thing. I know we're beating a dead horse here, but I mean,
No, well, the biggest challenge with that is that it sounds like there is no expectation of any communication. So if the expectation, the contract is different, then it will have a different outcome. It will no longer be you can get frustrated, you don't have to get frustrated, whatever you want to do. But our contract to each other is acknowledgement of a message sent and a message received. Look, I'm an inbox zero kind of guy. If anybody is going to get like bombarded with emails, because I delegate everything to other people in my organization, and for me, my inbox could be jammed up with all these things. I'm telling you, I am the most efficient guy because of this delegation and the responsibilities that I delegate to other people.
okay, that's good. Let's talk about the be kind. Why aren't people kind?
Oh, it's easier to be a grouch.
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess people tend to wear their emotions on their sleeve, and because most people hate what they do for a living, they hate their responsibilities, they take it out on the person that's communicating with them or in front of them at any given time. So for me, again, it's easier to tell the truth. It's easier to return calls and communication, receive the expectation, and it's easier to be nice because what's the expression? Gary Shandling said, if you don't think nice guys finish first, you don't know where the finish line is. And the reality of it is that because people don't think that there is any consequence to them being crabby, then their default is crabby. But who is the person that you're going to want to be around more? The person that's crabby or the person that's nice? And my feeling is that most people want to be around positive thinking, motivated, inspiring people. So when you do things like catching people, I think I said this earlier, catching people in the act of doing something right, then people will figure out a way to be caught in the act of doing something right around you. And how great is life when you're around positive people that do positive actions and have positive outcomes? Those are the people I want to hang out with because those are the people that I get my life energy and my life breath from. And those are the people that inspire me and motivate me to want to do more and be more successful. So if you want to be successful, hang out with more successful people. If you want to be positive, hang out with more positive people. If you want to be motivated, hang out with more motivated people. I have found that of all the things in my life, as long as I approach things positively, look, mistakes are bound to happen. It's what happens next that really counts. You can either be a pain in the ass or a crab about it, or you can be a solution-based person. I'd much rather be working in the solution than in the problem. And so for me, that's just the reality of my life. I've been in some pretty tough situations. I've been through 2 divorces in my life. I'm not saying I go at this with, yeah, give me another, but I am saying that I've gone through life very positive, and I feel like I have, on the other side of 2 failed relationships, I've found myself in a great relationship now and have been for a handful of years and really enjoying this relationship. I really feel like I understand the mistakes that I made, that the relationships were made the mistakes in the relationship. And as long as I remain positive, I really do feel like things are going to be good. And that's how I live my life every day.
That's awesome. And I mean, you're not a typical guest on this show. I mean, you run your own um, production company for podcasting and things like that. So it's, but you are what I wanted to bring on the show because of this mantra of the nice guy, because of what you've used in your world to build your business to where it is and to do what you do as a leader. You are a leader just as much as anybody else, and you run your company with this mantra. And I think that that's what's cool to me, is that you have this simple, not simplistic
Right.
idea of, and a lot of things are that way in life, that we grab onto things that are simple because we can repeat them and they
Right.
stick, and they're a basis for not just work but life in general. So I'm really stoked to hear that. So how have you used this idea in building your company, hiring the people that you hire, and just being the leader that you are? How do you use this idea within your own culture?
Well, the philosophy for us at Turnkey Productions is pretty simple when it comes to customer service. The customer gets whatever they want. even if we can't deliver it, we're going to share with them that we can't deliver it, but we're going to do everything that we can to deliver to you what you expect and exceed expectations. We also go with every philosophy is it's a customer first philosophy. How would I feel if I was on the receiving end of this bad news or this information? If I was the customer, what would I want to know? If we make a mistake, we got to own up to the mistake. We've got to follow through and fix the mistake so that it's to the satisfaction or beyond for the customer. And if it doesn't happen right, they're going to get a call. The customer's going to get a call from me or from somebody on our team. We really do approach our business as though it is all about the customer. And for me, my customer is not just the guy that's writing the check or the woman that's writing the check to me as a customer. My customers are everybody that's on my team. I'm accountable to them to make sure that I'm putting them in a role that they can succeed at. And if they want to be stretched, I want to be the guy that does that too. I want to make sure that everybody, whether it's the FedEx driver that comes to my door or the UPS man that delivers a package or the paper company that's down the street that we have a podcast with, doesn't matter who we're servicing, internal, external, customer, not customer, stakeholder, shareholder, doesn't matter. Those people are all my customers. When I was in the bar mitzvah business as an MC, the loading dock guy to the party planner, to the caterer, the florist, the photographer, they were all my customers. Other people would treat them as subordinates because I'm running the show. So, Mr. Photographer, you're in my way, get out of the way. My role is I want to make sure that photographer is ultra happy at the end of the job. I get every shot that they want to get because guess who is an amazing referral source of business to MCs in that world? The photographer. So why would I want to piss them off? Why would I want to piss off anybody, my staff, my stakeholders, or my shareholders within my organization or outside of my organization, even my prospects? I want a prospect that doesn't use me to only not use me because of whatever reason they have, but to still refer business to me, which happens all the time because they know that I will be on the phone with them, helping them, supporting them, even if they're not paying me a cent. If I can help them, I want to. So for me, that philosophy, whether it's the bar mitzvah business or the podcast production business for the last 9+ years, I brought that same philosophy over to this business too. Why not? It succeeds and it makes sense.
That's awesome. And that mentality is being taught to, I mean, you're mentoring the people on your team that are one day going to also, do their own things. They're going to go to other companies at some point in their career, I'm sure, after you sell this one for $1 billion. They're going to go on and start their own companies and do other things. And that what you're passing on is legacy and the brand that you're trying to create within Turnkey, but yet as you as a leader as well to help them become who they want to become.
We use this project management software called Monday.com. I don't know if they're a sponsor on your show, but
sponsored by Asana.
Sorry. That's right. So we use this project management software, Monday.com, and management has access to all of the notes that are going on, just so we see that everybody's doing their job, doing it effectively, and if we can help out in any way that we can support our team. And what's so interesting, I guess some of my team have kind of labeled this Dougisms. There'll be a comment that somebody makes to someone else, saving another team member from a potential error. And in a very competitive work environment, as we could be in podcast production, which includes editing, show notes, distribution, copywriting, all of the stuff, everybody's so protective of their position. I always see people coming to other people's rescue because they're on the team. And what a great way to see your philosophy, because we hire based upon, look, are you a good team player? Are you somebody that will help support your teammates, even if it's a competitive environment? Because they're all fighting for the clients. They want to make sure that they get their hours in and make the most that they can make through our organization. But we still see the help and support come through so many times. And it is great to see all the Dougisms that they will use in their comments as they are helping their fellow teammates, which is wonderful. That's a testament to, that's like you said, it's my legacy that's playing out with my team.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm working on Skotisms. I don't know what they are yet, and I don't know if they're healthy, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Keep doing it, man.
Give me, so people want to find out more. They want to talk to you, and give us a little plug for Turnkey, because I think that there are people out there in my audience that either are podcasting or that want to podcast and that want to do something like that. But people, I think this is a good opportunity for them just to understand the kind of guy you are, and the type of leader you are and the type of company you want to run. So this isn't necessarily a sponsored by Turnkey project, but it's like, give us a little plug here for Turnkey and where people can find you.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. Well, most people get into podcasting for one of three reasons. They either want to build their community, they want to grow influence, or they want to make money. And they're all byproducts of each other. So you don't have to necessarily know which one of those three that you're trying to do, but there are actually separate strategies for building your community, growing influence, and making money. So the challenge that most podcasters have is that they start a podcast and trying to figure out, okay, where am I going with this thing? They get caught up in those ego metrics, the Joe Rogan, Tim Ferriss, Tony Robbins metric of I'm going to have millions of listeners and I'm going to make a lot of money from sponsors and advertisers. The reality of people like you and me, Scott, now I don't know what your numbers are. It's irrelevant.
I just
for
passed
me.
4.6 million.
You are rocking the stage. That is very cool. So
just
at 4
that's
points,
a joke, everybody.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. You know, it could be for that matter. You actually could make a 6 and 7 figure income having 200 people listening to your show, which is about the average number of downloads that a typical podcaster like you and me may be getting if you had a podcast out for a year or two. Most people are like, 200 people, that's like nothing. I agree. It's not a lot of people, but it is a huge amount of people because that's all you need in order to actually be highly successful at podcasting. So most people don't know how to convert either those 200 people or how to convert their show into a mid six figure or 7 figure business. So while yes, we do production and editing and distribution and show notes and social media stuff and all of that for shows, our strength is really in the strategy for monetizing, growing your audience, and building your influence. So we spend time building and launching podcasts and distributing podcasts, but we spend the majority of our time teaching people actually how to have successful podcasts. So if there's somebody in your audience that has a podcast already, we can help you. If there's somebody that hasn't launched, we launch and then we produce, and then we'll help you with the strategy. And just reach out to me, and you'll probably put my link in the show notes, but it's turnkeypodcast.com.
Awesome. Doug, thanks, man. It's been really fun. And at least we know that you're a nice guy. And that's what I think we are all, at least we should try to be. And I think that when we talk about the oughts and shoulds of life, of putting that persona on people, this is something really that you ought and should be, is a nice guy, because, or a nice gal for that matter, to try to understand how that is going to help you build influence, build your brand, build the influence you need in this world that we're all trying to leave a good legacy for.
Well, thanks, Scott. Thanks for having me. Congratulations on the success of your show, and thank you for inviting me on. And I'm looking forward to getting some positive feedback from your community as well.
What if you were a nice person? What if we worked with nice people? What if we were led by a nice boss? Or what if we were married to a nice spouse? Or what if that person in the grocery checkout line was nice to us? I guarantee every single one of you experienced someone being nice, and the effect that had on you and the effect that had on you to others. It's this whole thing called chemical makeup inside of our bodies. We get these serotonin things levels that all rise, which is this hormone that has this pride idea to it. And then I get proud and you're proud, and we want to spread this good thing all over the place. That is the power of good positivity and of niceness. And if we can use that, and just these 3 simple concepts of tell the truth, return communication, and be kind. Tell the truth, return communication, be kind. If we can follow some mantras like that, they're simple, not always easy to carry out, but if we can try that, we will notice a shift in the people that we hang with, the people that we live, that we work with, and we will be able to build better cultures, both inside of work and outside. super cool that I had Doug on the show. It was fun to talk to him before the show and after the show. I'm sorry we didn't record those conversations. They were fun. But I hope that you got something out of that. If you want to find out more about me, you can go to skotwaldron.com and you can like, subscribe, comment on my YouTube channel. There's a bunch of learning resources there for you. The shows are all there in video form. If you want to go to the audio platform, please go anywhere you listen to podcasts. The show is there. And I would love for you to like, subscribe there and follow me on those forums as well. If you want to hire me to speak, I would love to come speak to your audience. Come and let me know if you want to contact me about that. Thank you, everybody, for being here again on another episode of X-Laxed. What was that? Another sponsor by X-Lax. No, thanks for being here on another episode of Unlocked. I'll see you next time.